Hey everybody, going to show you my 1964 MGB. I got this car a few years ago, had 40,000 original miles on it, a real survivor car. But she had some rust issues and decided to give it a full restoration. Of the restoration, this car still maintained about 95% of its original parts. Where it wasn't original, I was able to source original new old stock parts on eBay. I did everything on this car except for the metal and paint, which I had done by Coachworks Restorations here in Victoria, BC. It's the original color combination the car came, Old English white with red interior, white piping on the seats. We're starting from the front here. As you can see, I've got the original Lucas headlamps, the clear early style marker lenses, some Lucas fog lamps as well. That's the original early style grille that is riveted rather than a one piece. These are the original Lucas mirrors that the car came with, just re-chromed. The original wire wheels she came with from the factory. Very straight. This car came with this original Amco luggage rack that would have been a dealer installation at the time. Lucas tail lights. The interior is pretty much all the original interior except for the leather on the seats that I've totally redone. It's all the original vinyl panels. I just replaced the inner panels and maintained the original vinyl. Even on the seats, this is the original vinyl and carpet that the car came with, and I simply unpicked the stitching and gave it new piping and leather, which were very deteriorated. That's all the original carpet that I've re-dyed. It's the original rubber floor mats, which are virtually unavailable nowadays. It's the early style of door capping with its white piping, as it was. Black piping along the dash top, as these were. Here you can see these rubber floor mats. They had a black edge and a black heel pad. Black rubber starter motor cover. The dashboard I repainted, but I got a really good finish, the original style black crinkle finish. This is the original all-transistor radio that this car came with. Very period correct option. This car does not have overdrive, so it has the bent shift knob. If it had overdrive, this would be straight. Has the period correct Britex seat belts. These would have been a dealer installation at the time. It's the original boot cover that this car came with. Just in great shape. See in the footwells where the overdrive switch would normally go there, I've made that my fog lamp switch. I'll show you what's under the hood. Here we are under the hood. You can see the original body number is scribbled on in blue marker as they were originally. You've got your underhood insulation here. Again, here's another look at this early style grille. And these slats were all individually riveted rather than a single piece as on later cars. This is an original early oil cooler. These early ones had the rounded corners here. I found this on eBay, I had to source it. The original early horns. There's the radiator. All the original wiring harness, which I restored. Body number 31772. This car was built in February of 1964, so early 64. As you can see, the engine. So being early 64, this is about the first of the changeover from the old tube that used to come off of right here into the air cleaner. They've now got this style of breather. So this is the first we've seen of that. This would have been, you know, a few hundred cars worth of that new style of breathing. Got all the original wire hose clamps. Being the earlier car, you've got the coil bracket coming off of the engine mount, the coil down there. You've got this original support strap, which was always found on these earlier cars for the oil cooler hose. All the original decals, the wiring, oil filter, the tags on the spark plug wires. These are the original Lucas spark plug. Boots. Here's the solenoid and voltage regulator. Now on these early cars, this is the early style of Tudor water bottle logo. They went with a different logo later on, and on the early cars they had a black frame, whereas later cars had a blue frame. I had the heater decals custom made because the earlier cars had that style of lettering. You can see the difference is there's boxes around the numbers, whereas later ones didn't. The text within the caution writing is actually slightly different than was on later cars. This one says manufactured in England, whereas later said manufactured in UK. So little details like that I found that I tried to recreate accurately, even if it wasn't available. These are the original carburetors and air cleaners. Obviously new filters, and everything's cleaned up and rebuilt with rebuild kits. Maintained the original Smith's Petroflex logo on the fuel lines. I didn't over polish things, I left them the way they would have been. Brake and clutch master cylinders with the original style early metal caps that they had. The green throttle cable. B's in the 60s had a green throttle cable. Vacuum tubes there. All the original clamps I was able to replate and maintain. My car has a 3-blade fan, although I've also seen them with 5-blade fans. I'm not sure what the spec is on that, but mine came with the 3 blades. So. Very clean and tidy. And she runs like a dream. Other little details I noticed in the restoration of this that I found on other cars. For some reason, that one grommet was a brownish color rather than black. There's that one there that was brownish, and also the grommet where the choke control cable comes through, it was another one that was in the brown color. I've seen this time and time again on these earlier cars. I don't know why those ones were brown, but they were brown. This is all the original bumpers, chrome, so everything fit really well. I did replace the windshield glass, but that's all the original frame, polished in the way it was. I added the triplex laminated logo on there. Cleaned up the rearview mirror. See on the inside that triplex logo shines through and it looks different on the inside. Well, there you have it.